My name is Marcel Ernie, and you're watching Zone Television.
I was like, yo, let's go. I told him. Yo, his tail kicked out. Did you see that oil on the right? Right where the pavement gets sealed? Much oil on that? His tail kicked out at like 115.
Apparently, I can't remember who I heard this from or where I read it. Suzuki's new leader bike, or GSXR 1000, whatever, is going to be very closely tied to its MotoGP bike. Now, the question is, because most of the MotoGP bikes right now, almost all of them I would say, have V4 engines. The reason why they have V4 engines is because instead of having the cylinders all lined up in a row, you have 2 cylinders in the front, 2 cylinders in the back, which actually gives you a narrower profile for the bike, and it makes for a better handling bike. So that's the speculation there. So Suzuki's new bike, leader bike, is supposed to be loosely or directly or indirectly linked or tied, is going to share some of the DNA from its MotoGP bike. Brilliant. That's going to be great. But having said all this, I mean, and I read this article just recently where it was talking about the idea that there needs to be a change in attitudes about motorcycles in America and motorcycle riding. And I'm actually tempted to say I'm actually for graduated licensing. I'd almost be for graduated licensing in the United States, particularly for the younger folk. I think there's something to be said when you have to work at something. I think you appreciate it more, as opposed to just being able to get a motorcycle license. But this is all, make no mistake about this, folks, there's a whole host of like legislating and politicization of these issues. Stuff isn't happening in a vacuum. I mean, there's a reason why most of the states don't, or many of the states don't have helmet laws. And it's not because they want people, you know, maybe they want people to live free, but they also want them to die, because it actually saves hospitalization costs if you get into a wreck, because you're more likely to off yourself if you're not wearing gear and a helmet, which means that they have less of a mess to clean up and take care of if you're dead, as opposed to if you're, you know, semi-mangled up because you are wearing gear and that sort of thing. So there's, you know, it's a very political thing, but I really do agree that there needs to be a change of the dynamic. And I think the motovlogging community is probably having, or can probably potentially have, a very huge impact on Americans' attitudes about motorcycles, riding motorcycles, and, you know, wearing gear, wearing helmets, and so forth. And the technology, which is also caught up with motorcycles, I think has gone a long way to help, you know, keep people in the sport and on their bikes.